Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the most unique automotive aftermarket live magazine style show. Look at this. I'm with Mitch Schneider today and Colleen Yarger. This is going to be such fun. You have no idea because, we have a chance to hang out in the pre-studio and we were just chatting and shooting the breeze. And I have a feeling this whole episode may go out of control. So thank you all for stopping by. We are in the Dorman Fix OE studio. Good to have you here. As I say, this is one of the most fun. It's one of the hardest shows to produce, but it's one of the most fun that I have because anything can go. I want to bring on my guest, Mitch Schneider. Hello, Mitch.
Good morning, Carm. How are you?
I'm great. It's always great to have you. This is, I think, your second time on Aftermarket Weekly. Of course, we've done a lot of shows together. And Mitch, I want to, every time we get together, if I don't bring this book and I don't put it up, I don't feel like I've completed my day because this is one of those industry, if you will, it may even be an encyclopedia on how to run a really good operation, but it's a fable. It's a great story. You'll learn so much from it. And Mitch, I know it's out in audio too. I mean, you did the audio a while back, right?
Yes.
So
really proud of that. We got a professional narrator and it's just a great read. It's a great listen. It's a good book.
Great listen, great read, great story. Thank you for doing that, Mitch. Mitch, I did a podography on the episodes. Of course, we did Misfire the Book, episode 468. So if you really want to hear some behind the scenes and some of how Mitch put the story together, episode 468. We also did, our first episode together was 415. We called it Legacy Influencer. And then you hung out with us on the decade of the 70s. That was
fun.
So much fun. Town Hall 184. And then he came back in episode 463, or wait a minute, that was before 468, but whatever. And he talked about the first speech that Mitch ever gave, and we did the analysis as to how it matters today, what you were talking about, 30 some years ago, right?
And unfortunately, how little has changed.
And how little has changed today. Let me give you the agenda for today. Our beautiful, wonderful, quick, short show, Culture Matters. Mitch is going to hit that. We're going to do a shop tour in Chatsworth, California. We're going to open up your wisdom trivia of the week and fortune of the week. And then we've got a great trivia question for you. Hopefully you all will see and understand that. Here's a quick shot of Colleen's place. I love that. I don't know how you got that, Colleen, but that's a really cool bird's eye view of your shop, Mark's Independent. And we've got a great story to tell you about Colleen and Mark and the shop and everything a little bit. Hey, and don't forget, we do these tours, every single week. We've done now 45 of them. And here's, I think, a list of 16 that we've traveled the country from Texas and California to Maryland and Nevada. So please, if you want ideas and you want to just see what other guys and or gals are doing in the industry, love to have you go on to aftermarketweekly.com. Hey, if you're with us in social media and we can see any comments that you send in to us, check in with your city, give us a like, Q&A for Mitch and or Colleen, give us a comment or a share. That would be great. And we've actually produced Aftermarket Weekly as a podcast, and love to have you listen while you're mobile. If you can't always watch on video. And here's our trivia. Here's our trivia tease. What did Ford introduce as a custom audio option in 1965? Imagine that, Mitch. And I think when you all find out what it is, you may be interestingly surprised that it was that early, 1965. Hey, great to have you here again. As I say, Dorman, man, I'll tell you, they are bringing you this each and every week. Dorman may be an auto parts manufacturer, but they are more than that. Not only do they design, program, manufacture, and test their own innovations, but hold them to the highest industry standards with you in mind. Dorman focuses on improving the OE in a way that saves installation time and improves on the functionality of the part. Dorman's process is very straightforward. With their top-tier team of engineers, they quickly reverse engineer the OE and start performing rigorous rounds of testing until it's just right. Depending on the part type, there are multiple tests that a part can go through. These include, but aren't limited to, tensile strength training, salt fog corrosion testing, a million sequences of life cycle testing, and extreme temperature performance. Hey, want to learn more? Visit their virtual tour online at dormanproducts.com/tour. Hey, thank you, Dorman. You know, Mitch, I'm big this year on apprenticing. Big.
Huge.
I am so big on it that this Friday we're giving away a graduation certificate to Jason Molinar. And he is a 2-year grad now out at McNeil's in Utah. And we're going to have a lot of people that were responsible for his apprentice program on the show this Friday, 12 noon Eastern. We'd love to have you all stop by. And of course, as you know, we repurpose the video and we repurpose the audio the following week. So as I continue to prove, and I will prove the fact that there will be no technician shortage if we all start an apprentice program of our very, very own. Hey, Mitch, thanks for being here. Culture, baby. I mean, we know that rules. Glad to have you here. Let's talk about it.
It's critical, and the thing that's really fascinating about culture is that, like it or not, believe it or not, your business has a culture, and it's a reflection of your personality, and it's responsible for attracting the kind of people that want to work for you and want to stay there, and it's also responsible for attracting the client base that's going to sustain your business through something like we just went through. As far as the pandemic goes. Yeah. So it's critically important to recognize that and to realize that and to first admit it, become aware of it, and then recognize how you can go ahead and strengthen that culture and make it worthwhile. Make sure that it's a culture of compassion and a culture of empathy and a culture of quality. And it's really fascinating. I'm on the Patient Family Advisory Council at the City of Hope. And the whole purpose of the council is to protect, understand, and enhance the culture at the City of Hope, which is a National Cancer Institute facility. And I understand so much more about it now that I've been involved in the council. I almost wish I could go back and start over again and take advantage of what I've learned as far as the council's concerned and integrate that into my business, because it's really so important. You've got to understand that there is a culture, and perhaps most important is that if you're not responsible for defining that culture, I'll almost guarantee you that somebody else within your organization is doing it for you. And it may not be the culture that you want defined, because every company has a silent leader somewhere hidden, lurking in the background, whispering in the ears of some of the other employees and associates at the company, telling them what's wrong with you and that you don't know what you're doing. So if you have a strong culture and everybody's part of that culture, everybody has bought into it, then you don't have to be there to be sure everybody does the right thing, because they'll do the right thing whether you're there or not. Yeah. They understand that.
I thank you for setting that up, teeing up the ball, if you will, on the fairway. What I always knew about culture, and let me just share 3 quick bullet points, because some people say, I don't know how to start culture. Culture, it's important. I think we have a culture, but if you don't define it, you don't get together and focus, then you don't have it, if you don't even spell it out. And these 3 pointers that I've always gotten to know, Mitch, it's what we do, it's what we believe in, and it's who we are.
Yes.
And again, if you've got people on the outside, like you say, whispering around about this or that, this isn't working, that isn't working, the owner's making too much money, how come we aren't? That, it goes against probably the values that you should have set, but also the culture of the business. People, I guess the thing to judge if you have a good culture is that do the techs outside want to come to work for you? And if they do, right, then that internal culture, feel, what's going on inside the business, it comes back to you. But it's you've got to have it for it to come out, to come back.
I think one of the most important exercises you can do when you're talking about culture is to sit down and really do a deep dive into what your values are. You just said that, the V word,
Yeah.
the values word, and what your principles are. And it's important that you understand what the difference is. I mean, because everybody's got values. Not everybody understands what their principles are. I mean, bank robbers have values. They're just not the right values, right?
Right.
Principles are different, like honesty and integrity and things like that. So those are important. And my father defined that very simply. It's what you do when nobody's looking. Doing the right thing when nobody's around to catch you and doing the right thing. One of the most important things you can do to build your culture, by the way, is to catch people doing something right. Instead of beating them up when they do something wrong, is celebrate their victories.
Yeah.
And recognize their victories, because the two most powerful emotions that we know about in the workplace are going to be recognition and appreciation.
I've always heard, I've always heard, but I know the fact that if the culture is strong and the values support the culture, then there isn't a problem in finding the right people to come to work for you, interview them based on those values and your culture. And it's easy to let someone go. There'll be a team fire. You've probably heard of the team fire thing, but a great idea came out, and I think it was about 3 or 4, maybe 5 weeks ago. A shop owner said, I put a whiteboard up at the employee, where we would come in and out of the business. And I asked everyone if they could please, didn't tell them they had to, but could you write one word on the way out or on the way in every morning that describes a value that we have in our business?
Wow.
And within 30 days, they had their values set and their culture in place because it came from the team.
And one of the important things that's neglected often when we talk about culture is the fact that if you have a strong culture, and that culture is really deeply ingrained, deeply embedded in all of the people that are involved in the company will survive whether you're there or not.
Yeah.
And it'll survive a second owner. And I think that you're going to have a really good example of that later on in the show, because those values are there and they're shared. And that's the most important thing. And in order for that to happen, somebody's got to talk about them. So you've got to communicate that often and well to everybody involved in the company.
Well, I have to tell you, I think our industry is turning around, Mitch, more than there's more content like what I do available. There are more books to read about how to make a great company. Our coaches have never stepped it up like they have in the last 2 or 3 years, as far as reaching out and helping our shop owners not only just understand the numbers, not only how to know what gross margin is, but how to develop the person and then the culture and then the values.
I think that you've really hit on something important, because it's so much, as hard as it is to focus on the numbers and to focus on the hard elements of running a business, it's a lot easier than the soft, warm, fuzzy stuff, because that's interpersonal human relationships. And that gets a lot trickier. But in order for the business to be successful, you've got to focus on both.
Those are called soft skills.
Yes.
and I have to tell you, I've seen a bunch of businessmen sit down with a post-secondary college and say, you guys aren't teaching soft skills to these young people that are graduating. We've never learned soft skills, ever.
Yeah, my father's idea of soft skills was telling somebody that they put wheels on the toolbox so you could roll it out to the curb. So,
yeah. I'll teach you soft skills. I'll hit you where it's soft and maybe you'll remember.
That's it.
Well, I so appreciate. Listen, and I know we can't do culture justice in the first segment of our show, but I know you bleed culture. I know you speak to culture in the book Misfire. I know you've written culture articles, probably hundreds of them in your career, and I've probably read them all because I was always such a fan. I always read every article you ever wrote, no matter what magazine you were on. I had to get it, and I had to read Mitch.
Thank you.
So anyway, you feeling good?
I'm starting to starting to feel better. I had a rough year last year. I had 4 hospitalizations in just a few months, and finally starting to regain my strength. Leslie and I are walking 3 miles a day, and you can see the bike hidden in the corner of the frame. I'm on the bike every day. So yeah, and April 2nd, everybody think really good thoughts for me on April 2nd. It's my 2nd anniversary transplant birthday.
Wow. Your
2
second.
years.
Oh, amazing.
And I wouldn't be here
Truly
if not for
amazing.
that.
Well, are you going to have cake?
Oh, you betcha, man. I'm going to have my first drink in 2 years. The hell with the cake.
Whoa.
I'm going to have a bourbon and soda.
Oh, do me a favor, send me a quick note. I'll tip one out here on the East Coast with you. Okay,
That's
man?
it. April 2nd.
And Bill Haas wants to know why I'm not wearing a tie today. But Bill, listen, I think every couple of weeks I wear it. But Bill, for you, I'll wear one every damn week if you want. And of course, Greg Skolnick says, Mitch Snyder, you're awesome, wonderful guy. So thank you for hanging around with us here today, Greg. Hey, don't forget, everyone, every episode is archived, and it's on aftermarketweekly.com, both the podcast and the video. Hey, would you like to see what our weekly wisdom fortune cookie of wisdom is going to be today? And this, so everyone knows, this is my lunch. Yeah, as soon as we turn off the cameras, I'm eating the fortune cookie. Here it is. Be mischievous and you will not be lonesome. So does that mean that you're always getting into trouble? And if you're always getting into trouble, you'd have to have someone to be in trouble with, right?
I have 2 fortune cookies scotch taped to my desk. So
Okay.
I do.
What are they? Tell me them. I'd love to hear it.
You're going to make me do this. God looks after you in a special way.
All right.
All right. And the other one is each moment should be treasured.
Boy, those are perfect for you, my friend.
Words to live by.
Yes, they are. Hey, look at this week. Here's what went out this week. Steve Mancinelli from Denver. What a great interview. I love this guy. Family business, 3rd generation. He's in Denver, and the real estate values are going up so high that it's better to put up a condo than it is to run a shop. But he tells us the story of how many shops are closing in Denver, how many bays that they've lost, and how tough it is in that particular city because of the rising real estate rates. We also had Chris Clodier on last Friday. His episode went out, episode 622, and it was one of our great formats, 20 questions in 30 minutes. And you find out a lot of great stuff about Chris, smart guy, wise guy. It was a great episode. And then 2 Fridays ago, we did our Town Hall Academy, the Zoom Burnout. I'm telling you, if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, if it doesn't matter what element of the industry you are in, listen to this and absorb some of the wisdom and some of the ideas that came out of this, because we all know we are zoomed burned out. Well, I think it's time to head out to California. And we are with Colleen Yarger. Hello, Colleen.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Great. Hey, listen, Colleen and I did an episode about 3 weeks after she bought Mark's Independent. And I classified Colleen as the youngest, newest shop owner of 2021. And she's just under 30 years old, bought Mark's. And of course, we know Mark so well, and now you're here, and we really would love to see your place.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll flip this around for you.
Sure. Great. Chatsworth, California. And we're going to get a chance to see Mark's Independent, Mark Goldsmith. Oh, look at this. You know what? Guess what, everyone? We lost Colleen, and so that's okay. I know she'll be back because we've tested this. So there she comes. Here she comes back.
Okay. Apparently it kicks me out if I change the camera. So here we go.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
So here, let me stand back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because my parking lot is small. So as you can see, this is the front of my shop, and we are in a row of quite a few shops.
Wow.
So yeah, quite a bit of people around me.
So you have the kind of the middle two bays there.
We do.
And I asked her earlier, everyone, are they your competition? And she said,
No.
she said, no, that's the right answer.
Yeah, no, we are a specialty shop. Everyone around us kind of has their own niche. I mean, we're all friendly, but at the end of the day, they're my neighbors, not my competition.
Got it.
So I will walk inside.
Yeah, show us inside. Now, obviously, because the quarters are so tight, you don't have a waiting room for customers because this is very commercial, very industrial. And so there's your customer sign-in service counter.
Right. So this is where I spend most of my time. And as you can see, I try to make things as light as I can just because we don't have a lot to work with. So I do have quite a bit of plants. There's all of my plaques on the wall just to say that I actually do what I'm supposed to do. We do have an employee like lunch area that will eventually get a little spruced up. But by California law, we do not have a waiting area. We do have a small office upstairs. I do have an area for the guys also for training up there, but it's all kind of under construction, so I apologize. But this is, where you walk into, customers walk in here. We do have a restroom in the back, water, coffee. That is our, that's for Vita, for our Volvos. And our parts go back here. We do have just a couple parts that we keep on the shelf. We don't have a really big inventory, but we don't work on a lot of makes and models either.
How close are your suppliers?
So fairly close, actually. We have one that's down the street, and then we also have Whirlpack that's not too far away either. So continuing, this is just the back bench where the guys, grinders, parts washer. These are our oil drums. So that's the phone. 5W30, 0W20, just because we only work on a limited amount. Then those are for the older cars. Mark is still working on the 1800s, but that's pretty much it. I don't have a lot to work with. My guys' toolboxes.
Isn't it nice, Mitch, that Mark still wants to work on the old 1800s? So when she gets one, Mark comes in and works on it. Is Mark the former owner of the shop who we know so well? Mark, there he is.
He's right there.
Hello. I can't believe it. He's busting
doing
his
plumbing. Oh my God, yeah. He's plumbing.
Very exciting.
Colleen, tell Mark, Mitch wants to know why he's there.
Mitch wants to know
why he's there. He's there because he finally gets to have fun in his own business.
Yeah.
You better go to lunch, Mitch, too. Okay.
That's a deal. As soon as the things open up a little bit more, you're on.
Okay, oh, great. Yeah, I know. These guys are old
Mitch,
friends.
It'll help with getting him out of here, too, by the way.
That's very interesting.
I mean, we are literally just about 10 miles apart, 15 miles apart from my house.
Right.
Mark's shop. So I just get on the freeway, get off, and I'm right there at the shop.
Yeah, well, so just remember that, Mitch. Remember that.
Yeah.
What I love about what I see, Mitch, it's tight, it's clean, it's very organized,
elegantly efficient.
Yes.
Right. And like I said, there's not a lot that we can do here, but we work really hard with what we've got. So clean shop, everything's organized. Customers aren't walking into a mess. I mean, at the end of the day, you are walking into a shop, but I just don't want customers to feel that way.
It's beautiful. It's clean. It's elegantly efficient, as I said.
Amazing.
It really is. And there's no, you can always tell when you're in a good shop because there's no chaos.
Right.
I mean, everybody knows what they have to do. They're doing it. They have a sense of purpose, but not a sense of panic.
Right. And that I have to give Mark some credit for that. Mark obviously organized the shop. We maintained it. So that does actually go back to Mark. I'd love to take full credit for that, but I can't.
Well, look at you. You are continuing his legacy. And because it was a good one, then I give you all kinds of credit for doing that.
Appreciate that, Carl.
I don't know if Colleen remembers this, but I was at the shop just after she came to work for Mark.
Mitch, I don't remember a lot about that time. Other than trying to figure out how the heck to grab my bearings working with Volvos.
But I was there just after you had started with Mark's Volvo, and I had a good sense that you would do great, that you would do extremely well.
I appreciate that, Mitch.
Wow. Well, coming from Mitch, that's a really cool thing. Well, thank you, Colleen. Please hang out with us. I want to make a mention. Chris Delabella is on with us. Cheers to Mitch. I keep fortunes on my desk myself, Mitch. So I know I've known Chris for many, many years, and here's one of them. Your determination will bring you much success. Hey, thanks for that, Chris. Hey, look at let's tuck up the trivia question. What did Ford Motor Company introduce as a custom audio option in '65? Are you ready for this? The 8-track tape.
I was right.
Yes, and here's what's really surprised me. I didn't know it came out that early in '65. And here's the backstory on the 8-track tape, Mitch. You may not know this, but maybe you do. William Powell Lear, founder of Lear Jet, invented and patented the 8-track tape and its corresponding player in 1963. Now, when he was looking for a simple long-playing tape system to install in the business jets that bore his name. And of course, we ended up with 8-track tape. How did this happen to us, Mitch? We had 78s, 45s, 33s, 8 cassettes, 8-track tapes, CDs. Now it's online, and now it's going back to vinyl. I am flabbergasted by the evolution of how we get our entertainment. Just flabbergasted.
If you got a good turntable, there's nothing like vinyl.
Well, there is nothing. And I still have a ton of the old stuff. Hey, look at, thanks again to you guys, but I want to tell you about next week. Chris Cotton's going to be with us. We're going to do a little coach's corner. Chris is, of course, a successful industry coach from Auto Fix Shop Coaching. And Andy Bizub, great fan of the show, going to be showing us one of his stores out Midwest Performance out in Chicago. Hey, Mitch, can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here, and Colleen for showing us your elegantly efficient shop out there in Chatsworth, California. Mark's Independent. And it's another great show. We'll call it a wrap, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.